Welcome back, OGN Legend LCK Spring 2018. Afreeca versus BBQ and Afreeca. Beautiful draft and a beautiful game and a lot of damage from a man called Kramer.
It's a really satisfying game. I feel like we've had two kind of satisfying decision-making games. Game one of the first series, game two of the second, game one of the second series, where it was a lot about draft, playing to your win conditions. Afreeca were stalled out, so BBQ started piling on damage items, and you wanted what if, but the perfect fight never came. The Baron was claimed thanks to a great assist by TusiN. It was my MVP vote. We'll see if he picks it up, or if it's Kuro, who always picks up the damn MVPs. Kramer also with a shout. Did a lot of damage, but he had such a big front line, and the enemy lacked a front line, so very easy to look good on Ezreal in a game like this.
Yeah, it was certainly one of those games where he built a Trinity Force extraordinarily early and just started chunking everyone. Wasn't a hell of a lot else that he was going to do. They got every single dragon, the triple infernal, and let's have a look. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be the cow that had the big play to guarantee the game-winning Baron?
It is.
And it will. We did it.
We're doing God's work. TusiN's going to be happy with this MVP. Alistar moves up.
He doesn't look very happy with it, Papa.
You know, he'll get there. He'll get there. Give him a moment. Unsealed Spellbook Alistar was too strong. A lot of good engages in this game. Earlier in the game, this was during the what-if phase, we wondered why are BBQ fighting when they don't have any of their scaling ready. Level 8 on the Kog'Maw telling you that. Very nice flank from Kiin. They were able to wombo down some members. That was BBQ making a bit of a mistake. After all this happened, two big choices from TusiN that decided the game. First, the pick onto Ghost. If it wasn't for Spirit going rampaging over the wall, maybe they would have got the Baron here. The game started to stall out. Watch here.
Yes.
I mean, at the end of the day, Morgana was surprised to see instant flash headbutt over the wall. They got the Baron from it. TusiN lived comically long. How about a hero's entrance to give him more time? A 1-for-1 after the start of that. When you guarantee a Baron and go for 1-for-1, you're definitely covering yourself in glory. Didn't have a stopwatch to go golden, but his play was golden, and from there, we could all pile in 550 AD Ezreal, killing everyone. Congratulations to Afreeca Freecs. Great game one.
Yep, absolutely slaughtering Nexus turrets and Nexuses alike. Yeah, there is TusiN, the man on your screen right now. Haven't seen him picking up MVPs all that often, so really good that his pretty famous Alistar now getting some recognition. And now game one is in the books. Certainly a game the Afreeca Freecs are used to being successful in. See whether game two is going to be backed up the same way. Because this is one of those games that isn't necessarily top of the table. They've had a rough run through against KSV, team certainly well and truly at the top of the standings. Now they really need to claim this win. Taking down KT, a massive one for Afreeca Freecs. But let's see whether the draft changes as we are in Champion Select. And the Ryze and the Galio are going to be banned away. Galio, smart one on the red side.
Yeah, another champion that BBQ could definitely play, and the Galio played such an important part. It wasn't just about what we saw, it's what couldn't happen. But specifically Trick, who was on the Jarvan that he was playmaking on pretty significantly in his previous series against IgNar. You always have that second thought when you're invaded on, when you're looking for a gank as the Jarvan because of the globals, and Galio smack bang in the middle of the meta even with no changes in recent history. Focusing on this game, getting those tank supports. Maybe it has to be first round supports for both teams here. As a support pool being chunked out was a big reason BBQ weren't able to get back into the game.
Oh, interesting. So Kog'Maw is going to be the ban here. Was looking like the same bans completely. Ornn was the final ban that felt a little bit like a throwaway for BBQ in the last game.
You wonder if it's going to be a Kalista first pick, because right now they don't seem to be too respectful of Kramer's Ezreal. Had a great game on it last time out, but Kog'Maw banned away seems to be the one they don't want to have to deal with. And actually Kalista's going to be banned on red side. Very interesting. Ghost, you imagine, would be very highly prioritizing the Ezreal, because right now he's sitting on 0-4 Varus, which is the kind of stable 4th AD carry in the rankings. So BBQ have a lot of things to consider. Zoe available, Ezreal available. But the first pick, they will go for the Ezreal over everything else. And Afreeca might be able to answer with a lot of power.
They could even just pick up a strong bottom lane here as well if they do want to make sure that, like you say, the support pool is at least claimed, but now with Tahm Kench and the Alistar available, it might be less of a plan.
I'd like to see Zoe Tahm Kench actually as the first round on red side, just because it would be one of the chief ways to answer a Zoe, and also that priority mid lane. Tempt getting his hands on Zoe while they have Ezreal already. It'll be a lot of power left open to BBQ. But they're going to claim the Varus first, so clearly not the same priority on the Tahm Kench. What is the decision here? Taric, understandable. Tahm Kench, understandable. Great direct answer to the chain of corruption from the Varus.
I think the Zoe, like you were talking about, is something really important to talk about because it was Kongdu Monster, I believe, with Edge and Soul really going nuts with that exact duo of damage dealers that mop up team fights so effectively. And Alistar for IgNar is going to be locked in, and Zoe's right there. I mean, why not go for it?
I don't have a great answer for that. Gangplank priority very, very high on the red side, and now you look at the blue side draft, you're like, man, we dominated. Ezreal, Alistar, the same duo lane. We just saw Afreeca runs are being run back against them. And then Tempt looking like one of our best Zoes. One way to answer the Zoe is just to play through her, and something like the Malzahar definitely opens up a lot of playmaking, so it'll be a very aggressive jungle choice from Spirit in this game. If I'm BBQ, I start to ban away the Kha'Zix, but now with the Azir pivot. Alright, tricky lane matchup, one that we've already seen go the way of the Zoe multiple times, but we're going to see Kuro jump on the Azir, where everyone winces first and then thinks, okay, maybe he'll actually have a better game this time.
Well, he's sort of been up and down. It's been a bit of a sine graph with Kuro so far. This season, of course, was historically not exactly your favorite Azir go-to guy, but this time, see how it's going to go. But definitely a very different draft. Not showing the same finesse that we saw in game number 1. And BBQ, however, they're looking real good. They just double ban some supports. Tahm Kench hits the bench, as well as that Taric. And then Afreeca Freecs have to work out what they want to put on the bottom side of the map. Once again, 3 squishies locked in. They need 2 tanks from the jungle and from support. It's getting thin as far as where to find them.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to think it'll be a Taric second ban from BBQ, so look at what Afreeca want to do, and denying the Kha'Zix away from Trick.
He's got so many champions that he can play. I mean, Spirit as well. I mean, he's got the most unique champions played in the jungle role so far in the LCK, but not as many that are as reliable.
Zac kind of really is the one that gives them the engage they would want.
But that is so much scaling. I mean, what do they do until 25 minutes?
I agree, and that's the reason why it doesn't leap off the page. See the Tahm Kench ban? They're going to ban Orin instead. So because Braum is out, Orin and Tahm Kench, sorry, Orin and the Taric are available. So Taric is available to be taken here by Afreeca. I think that is definitely the pick they want to look to.
Unless there's something priority that they want to pick up for the jungle, because there's no way they're going to pick the Taric as well. J4 still there, but it feels like Afreeca are now just wearing BBQ shoes. It's like we've just switched it over, and BBQ now have a lot of mid-game power. It's a different situation, right? But where these 2 damage dealers get their damage is going to be in about that mid-game section, and Trick looking to try and capitalize. I mean, when he gets Cinderhulk Trinity Force, if he's going to lock this in, certainly going to be around that time.
Really good at anti-carrying is the Jax. Undefeated so far. Jungle Jax in LCK play 4-0. 3 different junglers try their hand at it this season.
Haru and Spirit most notably having phenomenal performances.
Waiting for them to round out the draft with a top laner. What they're deciding to take into the Gangplank. Vladimir available, could be considered. It's going to be locked in.
Okay. Didn't take too long to think about it. And it's a free lane for a Vlad, and I actually really like it. It means there's some late game security here for this team, and Paddlestar plus Hemoplague sounds like someone's dead in one spell. Again,
there's lots to love about BBQ, so we remain to be convinced about Afreeca's draft so far. See how they'll round it out. And the Leona available, the Leona taken. Leona very strong against Zoe. She does have some outplay. She can use the portal jump to dodge it, but
also can use the portal jump to be guaranteed to get hit by a solar flare, which ain't so good.
It's true. Only tank support of really any discussion left other than this was the Taric, but they decide they need threat onto the Zoe rather than going for the Taric and then being outranged so severely. But that means that Hemoplague is certainly going to be doing a number on the backline of the Afreeca Freecs. Ever since they locked in the Gangplank first rotation with the Varus, feels like BBQ have been a step ahead. So really liking the draft from BBQ. It's one thing to have it on paper, it's the other thing to translate it on the Rift. But BBQ are no slouches, and they've really given themselves a lot of options with this draft.
Looking at Afreeca Freecs, so like now that I see the comp all come together, it's sort of the most effective pile-in pick comp that you could ever possibly get. You know, you got Flag and Drag, you've even got the Shifting Sands coming out of Azir. Everyone can follow abilities. The Zenith Blade coming in from the Leona, and you can start all that off with the non-committal change of corruption, things like that. There is a lot of pick potential for the Afreeca Freecs, but like you say, the power faster situation means that BBQ will have so much more control.
And again, if we just rewind, if we go back to playing it back to game 1, Vladimir will beat Gangplank. Zoe should have great options against Azir.
Yep.
Ezreal, Alistar were beasting it in the bot lane last game, so you start to worry. There's possibilities for certain. Afreeca can certainly do some things. They have great pick CC. But BBQ, after game 1 where they were dictated to in draft, have definitely come fighting this time.
Yep, Afreeca Freecs certainly going to have a more difficult game on their hands. Can they back it up in game number 2 like they did game number 1? Let's do it. Let's get into it. BBQ fans desperate to hang around a little bit longer here in the Soli Stadium. See whether Afreeca are going to let them. They're not going to be out of the gate as fast. As you can see, BBQ fans in the audience. Bono, bit of a shout out.
Don't know if he's in the stadium today.
Unfortunately, BBQ are not playing on Sunday, Bloody Sunday this time, so I don't think we're going to see him. It's going to be a Saturday match, I believe.
A couple of losses in a row, and it might lead to an elevation in the chances that he plays.
We should stop.
We're never going to stop.
Crazy. Did have to get the hell out of there, but Kiin's going to stop some backs. Might mean that he has to hang around here as the minions have spawned, and yes, okay.
That did lead to the moment where I kind of thought of the old Gangplank. You remember the old Gangplank that had the slow on auto attack, and when you face checked him at level 1, he's chased you down and died?
Yes.
Kill you, so it didn't
also,
happen
I believe his passive dot did about 1 trillion damage.
It did do a truckload of damage.
The approximate trillion.
But Crazy stays in lane, just pops his refillables, and still will be fine. Let's see how this one goes. We reward BBQ for a better draft than game 1. But Afreeca decided, what about some early aggression? His Spirit's already going for a walk. He's walking mid.
Okay, Tempt could be in trouble. He's actually going to notice him earlier than he otherwise would. Kuro was trying to stand back.
Ended up being the Raptors' second for the Jacks, who can just pop Counter-Strike and do a number on them. That actually spotted out Spirit as he walked up. Looking at the comparison between Trick and Spirit. Spirit couldn't get 100% kill participation, but that's because there were just too many damn kills on the side.
Also, kills going left, right, and center, so you can't be everywhere at once. It's not one of those real slow games.
Time because of the Varus reinforcing the lane. Varus, Leona are the ones actually getting the push priority on Ezreal. I think a lot of that was Kramer just being very wanton with his use of Q off cooldown at level 1 to push in game 1, whereas a lot more respect being shown by Ghost and IgNar this time around.
Grasp of the Undying Gangplank as well. No Kleptomancy.
Nice that you point that out. It's something that we think will be more common as the Kleptomancy nerfs inch forward and forward, but
seems to be really liking 8.2, I guess.
Grasp of the Undying was always a big rune on Gangplank. On patch 8.1, you'll remember that the Resolve triggered a lot of buffs because you don't only get health now. You're able to get the bonus statistics from the other trees as well. So, in general, Gangplank going to be going a bit different. Our first non-Klepto Gangplank of the season. I believe there was a Unsealed Spellbook Gangplank in the LPL yesterday. I could be mistaken, but I think I remember that.
LPL, massive fans of the Unsealed Spellbook.
Yep.
It's that Leap Strike. Got Trick a long way, but he's not actually going to go in for anything. Kiin's going to go back to base. There's a little bit harassed out of lane, so he wants to get a whole bunch of that mana, and we'll see whether it's going to be a completed item on his first back, or whether he's just going to grab something else. Okay, Doran Shield and a Control Ward, so not a lot of money just yet here for Kiin. Bottom lane, very, very even. TusiN probably waiting for another level or so. Get a couple into Eclipse before you start trying to run forward. The extra durability, pretty great.
I guess the Vlad in particular, at least the Resolve tree, will give you some options. Can take Magic Resist, can take Second Wind as well. Going into the Grasp is a bit more sustained, so we usually think it's an inevitability that Vlad will have intense kill pressure on the Gangplank, can just jump on to Ignite as the laning phase goes on. But we'll see if the adjustments take away the inevitability of the matchup. Jack's looking for a lane gank.
Well, there's the flash pulverize. As really good Zenith play does change the distance. And TusiN is going to be able to get his way out. Nice dodge there on the Mystic shot as Ghost takes a lot of damage. That piercing arrow is going to do a lot of work if it does end up landing, but cooldown a little bit long here at level 3. Level 4 now going to be landed, and Ghost, blighted quiver, not going to be torn out of him just yet.
Seemed like they stacked their CC a bit there. It was a bit of an overreach. A lot of early damage, even with Ignite on the Alistar. Not sure if we'll get a replay of it, but 2 flashes invested on the side of BBQ for no kill. Not even a significant enough chunk out to end the laning phase for the Leona. Speaking of Leona, she's going for a walk with the Jarvan.
Yeah, and Spirit knows Trick's got no flash. Trouble bubble lands. TusiN says, I don't really mind. Double stun is going to come in, but there it is!
Too easy for the side of Afreeca.
Follow your moves and kill him.
Azir just walks over. Zoe's not there to react. Team of Afreeca of one mindset to help out their jungler. First rotation from TusiN. He was in vision, and yet we still see a death coming through from Trick. That's pretty disappointing. Feels like people were on different agendas around that scenario, and Trick ends up being the sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, and we've been a bit spoilt today, Papa Smithy. We've seen some beautiful play out of Afreeca this series, and King's Own Dragon X showed us exactly how coordinated you can be as a League of Legends team. We're not used to seeing mistakes like this today.
Trivialize some of the strengths of the draft. Just a nice little poke onto Kramer.
Really sexy headbutt pulve. IgNar. Not going to find the stun or anything else. Afreeca Freecs going to be A-OK. Kuro picked up the assist there as well in the mid lane, so his options certainly still going to be there, but Tempt, it's not about winning right now. It's about when these paddle stars can really start to threaten Kuro and also be able to shove him in. Kiin's having a great time on the top side. Big wave moving forward. Crazy hasn't been able to deny this GP too much.
You do have to judge the matchup a bit differently. Doesn't have the free Klepto gold. Has had to go for Doran's shield, so it's going to be a bit different. But like you say, keeping up healthier is still going to be important. Nice portal jump there, and Kuro will blow the cleanse just to stop him taking about 1/3 of his health.
Yep. I'd probably say worthwhile. Just keep yourself in the lane. Tempt's teleport, almost back off cooldown once again. Could decide to change that over to anything that he wants if he goes back to base, or just keep it, get himself a free back. A lot of early backing actually going this game. You can see Kiin went back just to get that Doran shield earlier on, just an extra Doran's ring for Tempt in the mid lane, showing that he also wants to get some control as Hemoplate comes down, probably mostly to help Crazy get his health back. He does get it. Kiin says that was a bit rude, but he's otherwise unfazed.
I mean, he's happy about it, right? Because it's one less likelihood of there being threat of a turret dive. Usually if you're going to see a turret dive anytime soon, you'd be holding on to that for when your jungler came. Jungler's bot side. Like you say, Crazy just does it for lane control, for a bit of sustain. But it is also pressure relief from Kiin. The longer you can keep up your stopwatch and flash, Gangplank, happier you are.
Yeah. Interested in what Kramer actually purchased. Oh, actually, it hasn't gone back just yet, but Ghost hasn't gone with the Relic Shield. They don't have anything like that on the bottom side. He's got a Doran's Blade for the extra power. You can understand now why Trick was down there towards the bottom side. I think that they really wanted to capitalize on the potential early flash from IgNar.
And also on the play patterns of Leona, which is something that gets you punished if you go for an aggressive level 3 trade. Doran's Blade start was also done by Teddy, so it's kind of picking up a bit of power on Ezreal in particular. It's always my expectation that when you have Caitlyn and Ezreal in the meta, that Relic Shields will be situational on a lot of AD carries, but you wouldn't have thought it would be there on the Ezreal and the Caitlyn in particular. Moving to patch 8.2 soon, so hopefully Relic Shields will be a thing of the past, and judging by solo queue trends, they are.
Yeah, interested to see what is going to happen here as Tempt utilizes his Chilling Smite that he picked up from the ground.
Trick waiting for his mid laner.
Boing. Just makes such good sounds with that skin as well. I'm a fan. Spirit clearing things out. Hasn't been able to find too much this game, apart from capitalizing on a little bit of an overextension by Trick. which is a confusing thing to say when he was in his own jungle. Kuro as well, he's now got his Merc Treads, so going to be able to move out of the way. And in goes Spirit. Easy flash gathered there, didn't have to invest his own, just needed to cataclysmically jump on top of the Zoe. And
that was with an aggressive paddle star, so for almost no damage trade from the Zoe. The flash does relieve a lot of pressure from the mid lane. Looking at the CS values, Kiin is still, you know, the kind of respectful 20 CS behind a Vlad, which makes you wonder if taking Klepto and just dealing with a horror laning phase would be worth it if you're going to be down in CS anyway. On the all-in start, then perhaps something like conditioning. The extra magic resist will matter is bot lane.
Yep, Zenith Blade, look at all of the CC. Cannon Barrage was there as well. It is going to be TusiN that picks up the kill. As now IgNar, the Unbreakable will. It is going to wear out soon. As Kramer gets in there, just auto-attack after auto-attack. Oh, Zenith Blade just at the max range. Stunning stuff as Kramer could be in trouble. Trick jumps on top of him, but TusiN, he's going to grab a double kill. Heal comes out from Kramer. As there's the stopwatch, and we will have the CC back up again for TusiN. Smart for Trick to back away.
And Kramer and TusiN just punks the bot lane of BBQ and the jungler as well. Significant outplay. Might as well be, but I don't think there's any laughing about it. It's just going to be Afreeca coming out gangbusters with that. Gotta say, IgNar having a front row seat to Leona plays is great irony given his play on Leona back against SK Telecom T1 at the World Championships. Everything works. Beautiful from TusiN when it all lines up like that. Doesn't matter if you're Ezreal, you get hit by the first CC, you're gonna die. We knew that Trick was there. He's actually spotted on the ward, but they still flash in aggressively. They had some vision. They knew he was around. And yet pick up the kill. First the heal, then also the stopwatch to drop aggro.
Yep, really nice timing, and then trusting the fact that TusiN had the Shield of Daybreak back up again. Afreeca Freecs, we always do praise their bottom lane. TusiN got a very well-deserved MVP in the last game.
And now he's fed.
Damn, yeah, now he's fed. This is real scary. And Kramer, not feeling great. That Rage Blade, only a few hundred gold away from it, but now has to have a blasting one. Blighted Quiver doing a bunch of damage, Papa Smithy.
Ultimate as well.
Oh, yeah. And there's the flash. Okay, Tempt is going to stun himself, which is probably not so great. Good portal jump, but I mean, you're going to go back. And that is the problem with Zoe. Avoids the damage from the Emperor's Divide, but no surviving that.
Yeah, no way out there. That's 4 kills now early for the Afreeca Freecs. The lane matchups not mattering. Kiin staying competitive in the top side after going into the Resolve tree. They're just going to take the turret as well. Ratcheting up the game time here are the Afreeca Freecs. And TusiN is making this all happen. Ganking the Zoe is something we haven't seen in a lot of the Zoe versus Zero matchup. Only Kingzone were able to pull it up. Nice dodge on an ability, but it's still going to be a trip to the death chamber for the Zoe. And now, the Leona's even more fed.
It's crazy. TusiN's just a man on a mission. Killing spree 3-0 and 1. He's got the Moby boots. He's going to be everywhere on this map. And we mentioned that this team is another one that's largely based on scaling. They've got the GP, they've got the Azir. We know that Varus fantastic at scaling into the late game as well. But Varus does have a more mid-game focused build to start things off. Doesn't build an Infinity Edge until very late, if ever. And the Afreeca Freecs this time around, instead of what BBQ had, which was almost a hard commit onto we don't want to do anything until 30 minutes, there is transition available. Leona's certainly part of that and doing her job.
Also, things are slowing down for BBQ. They're not looking for Trinity Force. No extra kills on Ghost, so no back timer where it made sense for him. Going to go for the Gauntlet. Finishes it now. Only a control item picked up first rather than the burst. So the timing's going to be different for BBQ. The only person having just a happy old time is the Vladimir, which is predictable, but Spirits can now spend a lot of his time just going top lane to relieve pressure, extending the laning phase as long as possible. Turret will probably go down pre-20 minutes. Already cascading amount of objectives piling onto Afreeca Freecs and kills in the first 13 minutes may make that turret going down irrelevant.
Yep, well now Afreeca, they're not going to see this Rift Herald be taken down. Trick pretty strong on this Jax.
Doesn't take any damage from Rift Herald either.
Yep. Shelly seems to like Jax a bit, just patting him, I guess. Kiin's going to poke his head over, probably see that the Rift Herald is falling down, and there we go. She's going to scream a little, and Trick's going to grab her, so no worries there. BBQ grabbing first big objective. Dragon still available, and it's still an Infernal. We've had a real fiery day today Pub Smithy. Could even be a 4-game day if Afreeca is still able to keep these kills flying forward.
Trick says, screw this resolve tree crap.
Yeah.
Put it down the Rift Herald. Turrets now.
Exactly. Boom. Oh, Shelly's just going to smack it in one. See you later, mate.
They're probably going to keep going. This is at the cost of Infernal.
I'll trade it for it. They know exactly what they're trading for, though. So Afreeca Freecs may need to invest the Cannon Barrage, and they do. You can see on the top side. True Shot Barrage going to come down to try and steal the Dragon, but not going to get it. Kiin actually might take a shot, but nope. Narrowly avoids that one.
It's a good trade from BBQ if they can get the turret. If they don't, it'll end up being a waste. They need to get immediate gold to continue to do well while Afreeca is scaling. So the fact they don't take that turret is very significant, Atlas.
Yeah. Not to, you know, we don't want to say that BBQ don't have scaling options with a Vladimir on their side, but I feel like you're right. I feel like Afreeca's front to back, especially as we move forward with all of their engage options, is just real scary. Okay. A lot to think about, though, because it's not the same as the last game.
No. It's a very different time here, but you're seeing why Afreeca kind of looked like they were just opting into the plan from BBQ, opting into the things they won with the previous game, and putting it to good use here. Our Afreeca Freecs with a comp that, you know, appeared on first glance to be just outclassed by the reverse draft. Not often when you see the reverse matchup do you see glimmers of what Afreeca can do, but in general here, they've been intelligent, they've taken over the map, they've been active. They've been active with the Jarvan after we watched a passive game from Trick. And the difference, you say, on the rollback is the fact that with no Galio, Trick has been able to be aggressive, but Spirit has been really enabled to be much more aggressive than Trick could in the previous game, and the Jarvan being able to traverse around the map, and the Leona, the playmaking from TusiN.
I feel like TusiN's made all the difference in this game.
Definitely.
Makes it seem like a very different story now that we look at it, because we expected Ghost and IgNar to really have some control in this lane. We saw it was Kramer and TusiN doing the same thing with the exact same bottom lane duo last time. Of course, it wasn't against a Varus Leona, a very different story when it's a Kog'Maw on the bottom side, but still. Afreeca Freecs making it look good as Kuro. Okay, cheers for the leash, boys, I guess.
That's definitely the sinking feeling when things don't go your way and something seems small, like a blue buff, but something you would have assumed with this comp for BBQ.
I like just the casual meander over there as well.
I mean, Kiin can casually meander pretty far up a lane against a Vladimir and not be worried about his life at all. Usually, in a scenario like this, Vlad has pressure on Gangplank, gets the turret solo earlier in the game. The jungle would just put down vision in the enemy red side, and then Gangplank can never push up halfway down the lane for fear of being dove, for fear of dying. But in the face of the Vladimir and with relative uncertainty, he's still feeling strong enough to push up. And that tells you the Gangplank is doing just fine.
And there's a heck of a lot of wards for Afreeca Freecs as well, up towards the top side. Knows most of the entrances and exits that Trick's going to be making it through. I think maybe Blast Cone could be the option here, as you can see Crazy does have a control ward down. Trouble Bubble, not going to spot Kuro. Not too worried about these Paddle Stars either, with a bit of extra magic resist, as well as the extra health from that Haunting Guise.
Mid lane's so weird for the Zoe, because half the time there's a damn enemy turret where yours used to be.
Yeah.
There's no ability to fish because the lane is either short, as the Azir pushes up, or too long. You can't push out for fear of being ganked. So with the laning phase in such disarray for the Zoe, hasn't been able to put any pressure on the Azir at all, to the tune of Azir being way up in CS in a good matchup for the Zoe.
Well, Spirit makes it through the only direction that he really could. That stage gets out alive, but I just wanted to draw your attention to the bottom lane as well. Ghost and IgNar just watched their tower fall down. They knew it was going to die, but they weren't able to get anywhere else on the map to try and make it a trade rather than just a sad time to be the bottom lane. 4,000 gold is basically the lead here for Afreeca Freecs. Not quite that just yet, but it just feels like it's moving closer and closer to that mark, and Afreeca really coming out of the gate swinging against a team that, remember, was a little bit higher on the ladder than them. Like, this is not a BBQ that is anything to scoff at like you might have thought in summer last season.
We're unsure where these two would last at the end of the season. Both of them had things to like. When ranking these teams, I had Afreeca a little bit closer to the top. I was saying maybe they could penetrate the top 4 with their new roster, and I said BBQ were just a lot stronger than they were previously. And both things are true, but I think in this case, Afreeca just had a little bit more. Spirit has been able to jungle a lot freer than Trick has been tussled up. We've seen some synergy problems, like Trick dying for free in his own red side jungle, as Tempt and he seem to have different ideas about how to play out the jungle invade that came through from Afreeca. And we see some individual brilliance from TusiN on the Alistar and now the Leona that hasn't been matched by those sort of brilliant moments from anyone on the side of BBQ. And then the person in this game most in power was taken over, Tempt, on his Zoe that he showed so much on against IgNar. Turret going down early. He hasn't been able to actually find the space to put down those trouble bubbles. They can extend the game. Like we said in the previous game, there will be good news stories for the Zoe. But right now, for the whole team of BBQ, not many good news stories to speak about.
There might be now. Trick is setting himself up, and they did have Soul Vision up here. They may have known that Trick had made his way up. You can see not actually spotted in that particular brush. The Afreeca Freecs don't want to risk it, even with Spirit waiting in the wings. Controlled play here from Afreeca. They've got a lead. They've got a lot of scaling options. No need to push it. As Kiin having a real good time now. He's having a laugh, Papa Smithy. He's not worried whatsoever.
Went respectful. Resolve for a bit more. Laning oomph. He went for an early...
Yeah. Spirit Bazaar is going to be coming in soon as well, so...
The Spectre's Cowl was actually to interrupt the Trinity Force. He understood his role. The rest of his team was doing well. Throw down a cannon barrage and don't die. Keep up your turret for as long as possible was his only assignment in this game. Secret Agent Gangplank 002 doing his thing, and Crazy's never swapped over to Ignite. Crazy's never had the jungle coverage or the warding to look for an aggressive dive onto the Gangplank. Gangplank and Vladimir are trading CS. That's not necessarily what the Vladimir was intended to do.
Yeah, but Crazy does have 3 items, 3 big and important items for him. I just don't know where he's going to use them, Pop Smithy. Like, the Afreeca Freecs, if they can keep up this level of control of where BBQ are on the map, their ability to pick anyone off as soon as they come into range, and then, you know, the CC is endless coming out of this team. They'll grab a pick, and once again, it's the same story. Grab a pick, take a Baron, win the game. BBQ, I don't know how much they're going to be able to do to try and stop that one. We saw Tempt have a real problem as soon as TusiN made it into his lane.
Item timings on the side of BBQ. You already mentioned Crazy, but Trinity Force also done for Trick.
That's true.
A lot of pick power if a trouble bubble hits, but to actually hit one when you lost your mid lane turret so early isn't an irrelevant thing. They actually have to find an objective where they can fight around 50-50 vision and have a moment of brilliance from Tempt to make some of these items, to leverage them into the sort of map pressure they want to create. Because right now they don't control the map. They have almost no map presence at all. There's no vision almost on the map from BBQ either. Almost entirely dark. Nocturne Ultimate. Permanent for now by Afreeca Freecs. They put down another control ward. They take over the Baron. And I think you just have to go in for BBQ. You have to make something happen. Because right now, it feels like they're being slowly choked out of the game.
And these zombie wards are so much value right now that Spirit's being able to get, because there are wards and vision being fought for this whole time on the top side. Sun turret falls in the mid lane, but it feels like BBQ just want to keep this in relative laning phase for as long as possible. Ghost has just been trying to pick up creeps under this top outer turret the entire time as they fight for vision control, and because of that, this Baron completely unseen. About half the health bar already removed. Trick is going to make his way in. Chains of Corruption comes down. Look at all of the CC. Trick couldn't move for what felt like 20 seconds. Baron is going to go over to the Afreeca Freecs. Kramer jumped on, but flashes and heals to get out of the way. TusiN just making sure that he's body blocking. He may have to fall, but they did get the Baron. Afreeca Freecs, 23 minutes. That's much quicker than game 1.
And it was so cool, calm and collected. Varus ult onto the Jax, CC'd for moments, and then they take the Baron. Was never in range to smite it himself. Let's see if Crazy wants to look for a turret dive. They want at least a turret against this. But Kiin's roaming up to wave clear. They will get the tulip, but no more for BBQ.
It could have been such a big barrel, but BBQ decided not to actually stand in the way.
Also, doesn't really have the items for a big barrel.
Not quite yet.
Bit more of a tanky choice. The Baron HP, when you see this, around 2,000, so smartly do. They rush it down. Someone has to die. TusiN first body blocks against the Paddle Star, and then is just there to interrupt Trick. No roam up from the Gangplank. Eventually does make his way there, but BBQ lose the Baron. Very nice take again. 2 games in a row Baron buff control. Fantastic for Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah. And the more I think about Kiin's Gangplank as well, the more I like it. Because this was another case of we don't really have much of a front line. And the more durable the Gangplank is, the more he can act as just at least another body to put in front of these two hyper carries that are doing so much consistent damage.
But how was this game supposed to play out from BBQ? We go back to the expectations of the draft. Vladimir should be killing Gangplank at every moment, right? The whole thought is Vladimir turret diving and Kleptomancy Gangplank, and then in the 4v4, Trouble Bubble hits, objective is picked up for BBQ. Resolve Gangplank going Spirit Visage second, also finishing Spectre's Cow before Trinity Force. All right, hold the point.
Yep, BBQ are going in, but there's another Solar Flare. Trick is going to get locked down. Cannon Barrage, just add insult to injury. There's a Cow that's getting turned in to a stake right now as well underneath this turret, but the tower's going to fall down. In goes Spirit, Cataclysm onto Ghost, Heal and Flash have to be used, and IgNar. Yep, it is going to happen in the end. No Trouble Bubbles for the Afreeca Freecs as the Baron buff still rotating for another minute. This inhibitor turret, inner turret, under fire.
Gangplank in this game has never been susceptible to the all-in from Vlad. He's doing fine in the 1v1, and in the 4v4, they're trading up with the initiation from Leona and the Cannon Barrage on a low cooldown, 30% CDR with Trinity Force and Spirit Visage. He's basically just someone that doesn't die to Gangplank, can wave clear, so doesn't die to Vladimir, can wave clear in front of Vladimir, and ults to let the 4v4 win more. So Gangplank is still fulfilling his role, even though he's not in any way a primary carry in this game.
Yeah, and just avoided the gank by Trick as well. We have to remember that the Baron buff against double AP, it's always been a thing in the past that just makes it so much more valuable. Not a lot of wave clear options against the melee minions that are just have so much magic resist. So crazy, not able to stop Kiin from shoving waves endlessly into him. 20 seconds now to go. Remember, when Barons are this early in the game, it's harder to break open the base. But Afreeca Freecs only extending that lead further. 7,000 gold, now the lead. It's just once again, intelligent play. And I feel like TusiN's making a real good case for a double MVP today.
Kuro's actually had some good moments on the Azir as well, but I'd say that TusiN is leading the race. Still some game to be played. Inner turret's starting to finally go down. Kuro gonna free auto this one to death. Second inner turret of the game. Rotating around. Tank Gangplank on the Rift, but he has 3 points in his ultimate. So he can still do things while the Vladimir is just giving up the 1v1 and trying to just rush into a fight.
Yep. Ghost really struggling against Kramer here as well. Spirit is going to find Trick in the jungle. Kuro's going to move over. Okay, Solar Flare, perfect positioning. Makes sure Crazy can't even get on top of them. The Ghost was popped there as well, and he's just going to have to go back because Kiin, he's knocking on the front door, and no one's there to greet him.
How smart are Spirit and TusiN. Spirit waiting for the Jax to come through. TusiN hitting the pinpoint ultimate onto the Vladimir. It stops the attempted 5-man rush in its tracks. Another turret goes down. Great stuff from Afreeca. I'm getting hyped about their future games because they're playing so damn smart. And this is a team that, like you said, was the Seesaw. That was the Game 1 special. Now Game 2 Afreeca and Game 1 Afreeca look pretty damn similar.
Yeah, we have to remember they started the season on a massive high as well, taking down a KT roster that we had really high hopes for. Now, off the back of a win against Rocks, it just looks like Afreeca are getting the momentum that we know this team can utilize so well.
I mean, in a bizarre world, they would have beaten KT, KSV, Rocks, and now BBQ, and only have lost to KingZone, which would put them right up the top.
Yeah, that's true. If we remember back to that KSV series.
It was a 1-0. They were 31 HP away from a 2-0 on the Nexus, and then went on to lose. So they will still be in the middle of the pack, but they're tending upwards. Definitely buy on the Afreeca stock this week, at least compared on, at least in terms of the Afreeca Freecs.
Yeah, I think so too. Really fun to watch because there's so many of these teams that are now we've seen are capable of so much. Even Kongdu Monster, I've been getting excited about Kongdu Monster, Papa Smithy, and you know you're in a pretty fun league of the LCK when Kongdu Monster are worth getting excited about. Trick once again moving down towards the bottom lane, but he may actually be cut off himself. Who was looking for the gank, him or the Afreeca Freecs? He's going to get the hell out of dodge. Afreeca just collapsing now on BBQ.
A lot of balanced Zoes this week, Atlas. some imbalanced ones too, but it's always being well held by team plans.
It's been 2 series in a row here as, good timing by TusiN. Does force the flash out of Crazy.
Got to be pretty on point with your Leona. You have to garner respect to get a flash out of a Vladimir, but he gets double summoners out of Vlad.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty good about that for just an ultimate that's already a quarter off cooldown for TusiN.
No Zhonya's yet, but still had his stopwatch, so Crazy could have actually used that instead of popping the flash, but with Spellbook, 25% extra CDR, feels alright. Not going to be too worried.
And respawning in 20 seconds. The first one opened up the game, but not to the death knell of an inhibitor. So, still, for the side of BBQ, all hope is not lost. Definitely not the proactive game we saw with a similar draft from Afreeca Freecs in Game 1. Yep. Well behind. Only 2 turrets to their name.
Now we've got double Knight's Vow. 1 for each of the carries on the Afreeca Freecs. Kiin continuing on the defensive route. Guardian Angel completed.
It suits the game right now, and guess what? Later, your Gangplank, you're going to have plenty of gold.
Yeah.
Philly Edge and a Phantom Dancer to show up out of nowhere.
And then he could just be the Gangplanks that we're used to, you know, doing trillions and trillions of damage. Oh, Tempt has to flash as well.
Damn, TusiN is so on point.
He is on point, man. Well, they're looking for it. Spirit just cataclysms his way in. There's nowhere to go. Chains of Corruption come down. IgNar does have the ultimate, but Unbreakable Will is not going to be enough here. Paddlestar gets Tempt probably into danger, as that was an interesting interaction. Still means you're dead though, buddy. Double kill comes down for Kramer. And Afreeca Freecs say thank you very much. I don't even know whether we want to win the game or whether we want to take the Baron.
Yeah, any pick was golden as far as Spirit was concerned. Vaguely altered onto Ghost and IgNar, who both had everything up. Didn't matter. They cleaned up from there. Nice roam up and some decent damage from the largely tank Gangplank. They want multiple turrets from this. That just means the Baron will be free by the time they turn their attention to it.
Do they even need it? I mean, they've got 28 seconds on Tempt, 10 left on IgNar. I guess his disengage could help them out. So Afreeca Freecs, textbook style, they're going to take a couple of inhibitors while they can. Move back towards Baron, get a bunch of items, put them in their back pockets, and run it down mid to win the game. May even head towards the bottom lane just to take everything that they possibly can.
We knew this game wouldn't be easy for Afreeca. There was a lot to like about BBQ's draft, but Afreeca just, you know, accept that. Played fantastic League of Legends. TusiN styling and then some on this Leona. No kills recently, but so many kill involvements from the summoner spells being blown to answer Solar Flare after Solar Flare. And now they're one team fight away from winning the game and from winning another series, 2-0.
Yep, TusiN's actually 4 items before his 80 carries 4 items,
nice.
So that feels real good. Redemption now done. He's got a lot of activatables. Whoa. Better be ready with those buttons, but it's only for that final push. Put that Redemption underneath the Nexus turrets, and you feel real good about that.
And then look at Alistar's items.
Oh my god, look at Kramer's items.
No, but look at IgNar's items. He's sad.
Kramer's got a
lock it.
He's got to lock it. They've got triple locket. If you like it, then you should have put a locket on it, I think.
Apparently.
Is what they're thinking.
Apparently.
Yeah, they misquoted Beyonce this game. Crazy. Oh, he is still down here. Come back, Kramer. You've got a kill, potentially. Okay, teleports are coming in. Crazy says, well, speaking of Beyonce songs, Spirit does manage to go gold. Crazy does it at the same time. Kuro makes his way through, but it is going to be the first kill onto Spirit. They trade it back. It's not going exactly as in Afreeca Freecs' favor as they would have liked, but oh god, goes. One more auto attack would have just straight up killed him.
Didn't wait for the third locket, so that really counted against them in that one. The onslaught will still continue. Third inhibitor will roll down with super minions Baroned up. Maybe it doesn't matter, Atlas.
Yep. And Crazy, sort of a lot of that teamfight pressure that BBQ had with these Baron buffs. You're exactly right. There are so many minions, so many super creeps. And now in goes Trick. Does find a double stun, but Chains of Corruption comes down and he explodes. He's not tanky at all with the Trinity Force build. And Nexus turrets are going to melt once again. Kramer pretty good at taking down structures. They want some kills first, though. It's not going to happen. Minions are going to do it. And Afreeca Freecs, a 2-0, real clean against BBQ.
A very well-deserved 2-0. At least Kramer knew who the carry in the bot lane was. It certainly wasn't the Varus. It was TusiN on the support Leona. And when you're the support, you build a locket. That's what Kramer understood. He was role-playing. He understood that he was definitely on the back of Kramer. They went on the Kramer bus all the way to victory in this series at the Afreeca Freecs in impressive fashion in 2 different identities as well. It was a very different draft in Game 2, but they disregarded things on paper and just powered through, and BBQ rused the day where they met in Afreeca Freecs in great form.
Yeah, and you best believe that that locket on the inside has a picture of TusiN and a love heart on the other side, because Kramer really saying thank you. This is a team that has been on Kramer's back for, you know, a long time. They have played around their AD carry. They've certainly been propping him up. This was about the Leona carrying an entire early game on her back.
Absolutely.
Straight up.
Unbelievable performance, even better than Game 1 coming through from TusiN. So maybe we'll get an extended chat with the support that usually has been a man of few words. Yeah. Kuro and Kramer, as you say, dominating the MVPs in previous seasons. Yeah. So actually get to have a good chat with him, formerly of Incredible Miracle. Took a year off to attend to some personal stuff and play solo queue, then came back with Afreeca. Definitely was up and down in 2017, but in 2018, he's been very good.
Yeah, and speaking of Kuro as well, former Rocks Tigers players have been having a pretty good day out today. Unfortunately, Smeb wasn't here, but I actually spotted Kuro congratulating Peanut after Peanut's very impressive victory in our first series of the night, which was hours ago now.
I mean, this one, even shorter than our first series, 1 hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
For this best of 3.
What do we do when we go home before 10 p.m., Papa Smithy? I don't even know what happens there.
12:30.
Is anywhere open? I don't know.
We've had 12:30 nights, so 9:45 is just outstanding. As we look at the tail of the tape, the carry did the least amount of damage, but Varus was the support in this game.
Yeah, he certainly was. The Locket build was hilarious. He understood exactly what was going on.
And maybe we'll be seeing more grasp Gangplank, especially when the Vladimir is rolled out, because the build and the unselfishness to get a Spectre's Cowl before your Trinity Force, to give up all the scaling and items from the Klepto and go for the Resolve, actually allowed him to be an ultimate bot, which is more than he kind of expected when the Vladimir was locked in.
I have to talk about as well, like, a lot of this must have been decided on in the drafting phase, and a lot of it has to go towards Comet as well. He did fantastic things for IgNar, now moving over to Afreeca Freecs, and you can just feel that the intelligence in a lot of the drafts and a lot of the decisions that these players are making has come leaps and bounds.
It's a name that's well known to us. Comet was, as you say, a IgNar coach. Before that, he was actually an InVen reporter, so he came from the other side of the scene. You know, came from the fandom, came from, you know, kind of pseudo broadcasting like we were, and made the transition from journalist over into coach, and got a lot of compliments for IgNar last year. He was there in 2017. 2018, he's helping to really amp up the Afreeca Freecs as well, and this man, TusiN. 2 MVPs, both of them today. No surprises after that Leona performance.
Yeah, I feel like Comet may have been making a bit of a project of TusiN, because his performance is really...
This one was...
leaps and bounds today. Look at that.
Bizarre.
The Zenith played flag and drag situation,
but
though,
I think the situation of 3 members of Afreeca, where the mid laner not responding and the AD carry not responding, it's a free kill onto Trick. Don't know where the synergy was there. And then from there, it was the pick factory. Everywhere TusiN went, it was a kill or it was a summoner spell being blown. Whenever you see a Vladimir in the late game use Flash and Ghost in response to a Leona, you know that Leona has got her eye in.
Yep. And the portal jump trolled me a little bit. I was like, oh, he used to... Oh, no, wait, no, he's gone back. He's well and truly dead. And again, Baron saving the second Baron of the series.
Yeah, Baron takes in this game by Afreeca were outstanding. TusiN a large part of that. But he didn't miss too many abilities.
Hell no. Solar Flare's absolutely on point. Shout out to Kiin, throwing the Cannon Barrage in exactly the right place.
This one was my favorite, just because TusiN was like, hey, you coming? See ya.
No, says Crazy and turns around.
And then this was just the Operation Ult Anyone.
Yeah, and I loved it. That was exactly what you said after this team fight as well, and it's exactly right. It just felt like Afreeca Freecs. They had the recipe for victory. And grab as many picks as you can, and then the base is in shambles and they win the game. Just beautiful strategic League of Legends. Twice in a row. Both of our series tonight, just real masterclasses in how to win and how to win decisively.
There's definitely a lot to learn for every team, I would say, around the world. It's a long meta, but you wouldn't know it from tonight's games.
Yeah. So we are now going to have, like you say, back-to-back solo interviews. TusiN now going to be with us, so let's throw it over to Andy for some translation.
Thank you, guys. Okay, Afreeca Freecs takes down BBQ Olivers with a 2-0 clean victory. So now here, we are sitting down with TusiN for the MVP interview. Please give a round of applause.
투신 선수 오늘 뭐 활약이 굉장했습니다.
TusiN, you played amazing today. Would you like to say something?
이번에 이제 연승과 또 승점에 대해서 굉장히 중요한 경기였다고 생각합니다.
So now today's victory is very significant as in the MVP ranking and the total points that we have accumulated.
말씀해 주셨는데 원래 투신 선수가 이번 시즌 들어와서 그 전에도 그랬지만 굉장히 좀 잘하는 모습을 많이
TusiN, like you've shown some phenomenal plays in the past, but
오늘에서야 어떻게 보면 받는 건데 약간 그 부분에 대해서
today was no different. You are amazing today.
뭐 사실 MVP보다는 일단 승리에 조금 집중하고 있는.
Yeah, I'm more focused in winning the game than getting the MVP.
그런 경향이 좀 있는 것 같더라고요. 네.
그래서 오늘 단독 MVP에 선정이 되셨는데.
So you are the MVP of today.
서포터 포지션이 사실 단독 MVP를
And it's quite rare for the support player to get the MVP as well.
네. 그래서 오늘 본인이 좀 플레이하면서 이거 오늘 MVP 받겠구나라고.
So did you think you would get the MVP today?
일단 보통 서폿을 잘 안 주는 것 같은데.
I mean, it's true that supports rarely do get the MVP.
다른 라인들이 잘 보여준 게 없어서.
But I feel like I stood out more because the other lanes were more passive compared to me.
그래서 거기서 연결하는 게 그만큼 뭔가 티가 안 났다는 게 아프리카 프릭스의 경기력이 굉장히 깔끔했다.
Adding to that,
아주 안정감 있게.
it also means that Afreeca Freecs' performance today was pretty flawless.
훈련이 들어가는 건가요?
일단 기본적으로 팀 플레이를 하려고 보통 하는 경향이.
So we normally try to concentrate on team plays rather than individual plays.
오늘 같은 경우에는 더 그게 부각돼서 서폿이.
So today it felt like we had more emphasis on the team play.
이야기를 좀 해보면 상대가 모르가나 서포터를 꺼내 들었어요.
You know, the enemy actually picked Morgana support in the first game. Did you expect that? I feel like Morgana does counter Alistar, but I don't think it's really the best choice in the current meta.
그리고 실제 이제 알리스타가 코그모를 계속해서 노려주는 그런 멋진 모습으로.
So your Alistar kept marking down the Kog'Maw, so he couldn't do much.
1세트는 누가 MVP를 받아도 이상하지 않았다고 생각해요.
In the first set, any of the team members really could have just gotten the MVP, but TusiN, you stood out the most.
거의 완벽에 가까운 그런 레오나를 보여줬는데 이거 역시
Your Leona was just amazing today.
저 같은 경우에는 늘 거의 모든 챔피언에 또 한 번씩 서폿으로.
Like for myself, for me, I try to play every champion and I try to get good at every champion. And Leona, I always consider her a pretty good champion as well.
많은 팬분들이 약간 서로 방어적으로 가는 것보다 이런 레오나 같은 게 나오면 되게 여유가.
Lots of fans do tend to cheer up when they see more of an aggressive champion like Leona than passive champions. I mean, it is true. It's true that I tend to prefer more initiating support champions than passive champions. So I feel like once in a time I could actually pick up Leona.
화제가 됐던 것이 어쨌든 최근에 저희가 뭐 키 플레이어로 지목을 했습니다만 양팀 미드라이너가 모두 조이를 굉장히.
Another controversial thing these days is that most of the mid laners tend to prefer Zoe than anything else.
조이를 열어주고 카운터를 치겠다 뭐 이런 의도도 좀 숨어 있어요.
So did you guys open up Zoe to counter her?
이제 조이를 좋아하다 보니까 아무래도 서로가 대체할 카드가 있어서 그렇지 않나 싶어요.
I feel like we both have the cards to counter pick the Zoe.
사실 또 2세트에서 마지막쯤에 나왔는데 다 같이 솔라리 펜던트를.
In the second set, you guys actually all bought Solari. So what was the reason behind that?
그런 아이템들을 선택을 한 거예요. 각자 뭐 생각을 해서 각자가 한 건 아닐 거 아니에요.
Was that a team strategy?
조은이가 좀 그런 부분에 있어서 굉장히 좀 개방적이거든요, 얘가.
So we are pretty open to like new kind of things.
안 터지면은
So as long as we don't get exploded by Zoe, I feel like the 3 Solaris could provide us a lot more barrier.
너 하고 싶은 대로 하라고 했죠.
그래서
개방적이네요.
또 연결되는 얘기가 이제 갱플랭크가
Adding to that,
선택하는 게 아닌, 그러니까 도벽이 아니라 착취를 선택했어요.
Gangplank actually took Grasp of the Undying instead of Kleptomancy. So what do you think about that?
기인이가 지금 갱플을 조금 잘하는 경향도 있고.
Our top laner is quite proficient at Gangplank. So we trust him, and I believe there was a reason why he went for Grasp of the Undying.
그래도 원딜이 크레이머 선수 지난번에도 정당한 영광도 가고.
I mean, Kramer last time he took Righteous Glory.
솔직히 어때요?
물론 한숨을 쉬면서 너 하고 싶은 대로 해라.
I mean, I respect his decision, but you know, I'm always kind of reluctant in his item choices.
그래서 어쨌든 뭐 결과가 굉장히 좋았으니까.
Well, anyway, the result was fantastic.
또 이 레오나의 그 하이라이트 장면을
Okay, we have the highlight reel of your Leona prepared. Let's have a look.
이거부터 시작이었는데.
This one marks the beginning of your Leona legacy.
콜을 종훈이가 해줬거든요. 종훈이 콜이었거든요. 이거 원거리 먹을 때 보자.
Oh wow.
그리고 바론 마크.
The Baron marking.
너무 많아요 하이라이트가.
It's too many highlights to be honest.
이렇게 싸우다 보면 서포터 입장에서 버려질 때도 많잖아요. 아까도 바론 쪽에서.
You know, you always keep your eye on your ADC, and you always peel him, and you also do the initiating at the same time.
그냥 버리라고 하죠. 그냥 난 채널하고 그냥 얘들아 잘 살아가 이러면서.
You know, it's my duty.
또이 서포터가 팀의 어머니다 이런 말이 또
You know,
선수를 보면
they say that support is the mother of the team.
그래서 이제 아프리카 프리스가 이번 스프링 스플릿 초반에 좀 강팀을 많이 만나서
Afreeca Freecs rose to being the strong contender of the split.
내부적으로 있어서도 다 승리한다 뭐 이런 플랜을 좀 가지고 있나요?
So, what kind of resolution do you have right now?
거의 매판 이기려고 열심히 하는
I mean, we always try our best in every game.
초반에 아무래도 강팀을 세 번 만난 게.
And it's true that we met the strongest teams in the early split.
역시 또 그렇게 긍정적으로 생각하면서 아프리카 오늘 또 2대0
So, I mean,
승리를.
you seem like a very optimistic person.
오늘 뭐 크레이머 선수에 대해서 오늘 또 얘기 많이 하셨는데.
I mean, you talked a lot about Kramer today.
전해 주시죠.
정말 좀 더 열심히 할 필요가 있어 우리는.
I feel like we need to try harder, Kramer.
알겠습니다.
Let's try harder.
그리고 오늘 또 팬분들이 아프리카 프릭스를 응원해 주시게 정말 많이 와주셨어요.
The fans are here to cheer for Afreeca Freecs. Would you like to say a word to them?
오늘도 응원해 주셔서 정말 감사하고.
I'm honestly grateful for your support, and thank you for coming today. And we'll try our best in the future. Okay, that seems like the end of the interview, and we'll throw it back to the caster as the interview ends.
Thank you very much, Andy. Super great to hear from TusiN, because we don't get to hear from him too much. Papa Smithy, the Afreeca Freecs often dominated by that man in the mid lane. Kuro just seems to take as many MVPs as he wants, but it is going to be the 2-0. It means that tonight, probably one of the earliest finishes so far of the season.
Yeah, pre-10 p.m. we finish off here. It's very quick games, both of them over 30 minutes, but nowhere near 40. Support so often the voiceless carries, this time finally a voice.
Yeah, saying the mother of the team, but I feel like he was the mother, the bodyguard, the dad, everything. TusiN really did have the team on his back, especially in the early game of Game 2.
Deserved both MVPs, and the Afreeca Freecs deserve to rise. That's why you see them as high as 4th. Looking like a team that is definitely going to be heavy in competition for top 5 play is the Afreeca Freecs. The only one that's a big surprise, of course, is SK Telecom T1. They will play tomorrow. They're the only team that really stands out to be a lot lower than you might expect. Maybe Kongdu Monster higher than would be expected, but still very early in the season to finally judge.
Yeah, and I feel like from Afreeca Freecs to the Rocks Tigers, or to SK Telecom, honestly, they could switch around as much as you would like. And IgNar is going to have an opportunity to rock the boat here, as KT Rolster are going to take the rift against them in our first match tomorrow afternoon. MVP then versus SK Telecom T1, and that game all of a sudden became extremely interesting.
It's so weird to say it's 9th versus 10th, right? But SK Telecom, they've had a rough start. They've also had some rough play. Who's even going to be playing for SKT in their roster tomorrow? We don't know. We'll follow that up on Saturday. King Zone Dragon X against Kongdu Monster might actually be the start of Kongdu Monster's fall after already losing this week. And then KSV versus BBQ. So we know which teams are trending upwards. Let's see if BBQ and Kongdu Monster confirm that maybe their season, now that their schedule gets more difficult, will start to trend downwards.
Yeah, it could be another opportunity for a quick night if you have a look at the pedigree of the first 2 teams that are going to be starting off on the blue side. But Kongdu Monster has upset the second team that I just mentioned in KFV earlier on. So maybe there could be some fireworks there on Saturday as well. Man, it's been a real quick one. We're not going to waste any time with signing out for a long time or anything like that, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
is always dry. Aim high, trust that you're able, and you just might fly.